I recently purchased a Louis Vuitton notebook cover and turned it into a money savings book. Here was my thought process behind it. So I had recently did a birthday haul where I had purchased myself this Louis Vuitton notebook cover. I had purchased it alongside the actual notebook that's supposed to go with it, but after purchasing the notebook, I actually realized that I wanted to do something a little bit different. I purchased the notebook with the notebook cover with all intentions of using it with each other, but eventually the ideas started rolling in after I started scrolling through social media and seeing how creative people were getting. My first thought was to invest in a notebook cover, get the notebook, and basically dedicate myself to taking notes and being very active in my agenda keeping and note taking. I figured dropping a bag on something as simple as this would motivate me to do such a thing, but who knew that I would get even more inspiration for something so simple? Though it's very gorgeous and it's doing what it's supposed to do, I wanted to do something just a little bit more different because I didn't want to just keep it as a basic notebook cover. Now, I did a little bit of research and saw a bunch of influencers who added their own inserts to actually make this an agenda type binder cover. Well, I wanted to do something a little different and actually turn it into a money savings book. I went on Amazon and purchased the most convenient items to actually make this happen, so that way I didn't have to really do too much to make my vision come to life. I've already spent a ton of money on these items and I didn't really want to have to do much more to actually get it to where it needed to be. So this little clear, binder was actually perfect. And once I set it inside, I realized that it was kind of snug in there, but I wanted it to actually be perfect so that way there isn't any unnecessary space being taken up. So basically, I'm going to do a few modifications to make sure that it fits correctly just by cutting the edges just to slim it down a bit. When I was cutting it, I wasn't really trying to be too careful, but I did cut it as thin as possible so that way I didn't take away too much. I wanted to do just a little bit at a time because I wanted it to fit perfectly, not too small, and definitely not too big. So I basically got it to where I wanted it to be on my first try, and from there I was really excited and was ready to just put the inserts in. Now, these inserts are the perfect size for the agenda, so basically I didn't have to do any extra work. I didn't have to size them down. I didn't have to purchase anything additionally. And I don't really think I need to even put all of these in there, but just to see how it fits, I'm going to add them all and see how it closes. So it is a bit full, and I'm going to work on seeing what's the best way to make sure that it's not like, busting at the seams, especially when I start adding cash to it. But to test it out, I'm going to add a few dollars to a few of the pouches and just see how it goes. So without even getting too far, I can already tell that I'm going to need to take some of the pouches out and try and use, bigger bills. So that way I'm not stuffing it with cash and it's just getting fatter and fatter and I end up not being able to buckle it closed. So I can see slimming it down by at least 50% and using bigger bills for my concept to actually work. But being as though I can do whatever I want with this, I'll probably just end up putting my notebook back in there. But either way, I love this concept. It feels very bougie and it feels very me. If you're going to do something like this, let me know in the comments or let me know how you would do it just a little bit differently to make it even better.
I don't have to find an aesthetic. I am an aesthetic. I'm sure there's somebody out here right now who's going into Pinterest trying to type up all these adjectives to describe me.